Welcome to this Blue Christmas service. You are invited to find a candle for lighting later on in this service. While Advent is often thought of as a season of hope, and Christmas is thought of as a season of joy, not everyone feels festive or hopeful. Feelings of grief, depression, loneliness, and loss may be magnified in this season. And this Blue Christmas service is meant to provide a safe place where this reality is named, where we acknowledge that it just because it is Christmas doesn't mean that everything is okay. And so, welcome, you who ache and do not know why. Welcome, you who endure pain in your bodies or despair in your minds. Welcome, you who are tired of being lonely. Welcome, you who are imprisoned by anxiety or fear. Welcome, you who are on the long journey of grief. Welcome, you friend or family of anyone carrying these loads. Welcome, you who have lost love, who have lost hope, who have lost faith. Welcome, all of you, every part of you. May this time together provide comfort and healing. We light this candle as a symbol of the radiant light of Christ, which cannot be extinguished and which shines through each and every one of us, no matter where we are on life's journey. We acknowledge that this gathering takes place on the ancestral, unceded lands of the Syilx Okanagan Nation. Recognizing the lands we are on is a first step in living into reconciliation with local Indigenous people. Indigenous communities remind us that land is much more than a geographical location. The land is a place of deep spiritual connection with great mystery, and we are all called to live in right relationship with the lands which we call home. May this candle of reconciliation remind us to seek healing with all whom we have directly or indirectly harmed. May it represent our ongoing commitment to be people seeking truth and reconciliation with our Indigenous brothers and sisters. Please join with me in prayer. Holy One, surround us with your compassionate presence this season. Lead us to your light. Comfort us on the winding road of grief. Steady us on the disorienting road of change. Fill us on the empty road of loss. Heal us in ways we don't know how to ask for. Meet us in places and people where we'd least expect to find you. Remind us that all of the darkness in the universe cannot make the light from a single flame disappear. Amen. We light this first candle to remember those whom we have loved and lost. We pause to remember their lives and the memories that bind us to them this season. We light this second candle to recognize the pain of loss, the loss of relationships, the loss of jobs, the loss of health. We gather these losses up and ask that all who have experienced them might receive the gift of healing. We light this third candle for all who are lonely this season, for all who carry difficult memories, for all who are surrounded by fear or sadness during these days. We light this fourth candle as a symbol of hope and promise. We invite and celebrate the coming of the one who will never abandon us. May healing, love, hope, peace surround each and every one of us. Amen.
John chapter 1, verse 5. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. Luke chapter 2, verses 1 through 20. In those days a decree went out from Emperor Augustus that all the world should be registered. This was the first registration and was taken while Quirinius was governor of Syria. All went to their own towns to be registered. Joseph also went from the town of Nazareth in Galilee to Judea, to the city of David called Bethlehem, because he was descended from the house and family of David. He went to be registered with Mary, to whom he was engaged and who was expecting a child. While they were there, the time came for her to deliver her child, and she gave birth to her firstborn son, and wrapped him in bands of cloth, and laid him in a manger, because there was no place for them in the inn.
Sometimes we feel far away from the bright lights and festive music of the season, and Christmas brings sadness instead of joy. It carries so many reminders. We are reminded that those we love are no longer with us, or that those we love are estranged from us. We are reminded of the uncertainty of our lives, or of the uncertainty of what will happen next in this tumultuous time. We are reminded of our despair in the face of human suffering in the world, or of the despair that arises when we don't see a way forward for ourselves. We are reminded of pain or illness that brings limitations to our daily life, or how pain or illness are changing the life of someone we love. We are reminded of the words we never said, or of the words we never heard. We are reminded of our vulnerability and the times we were hurt. We are reminded of our losses, our regrets, our loneliness, and the empty places inside. And so Christmas becomes a time when we long for comfort because our hearts are broken. It can be easy to forget that there is heartbreak in the Christmas story too. There is the heartbreak of a young girl named Mary, who is at risk of being put to death because she is pregnant before her marriage to Joseph. There is the heartbreak of having to travel a long distance just as Mary's pregnancy is at full term, all because an emperor decided he needed more money. There is the heartbreak of Mary and Joseph being turned away from places that would have offered them comfort in this vulnerable time. There is the heartbreak of giving birth in a stable without the support of familiar friends and family. And there is the heartbreak of being caught up in a system of oppression where Roman authorities did not value the lives of the poor. Even so, Jesus is referred to as Emmanuel, which means God with us. Emmanuel means that God chooses to be with us in the form of a vulnerable child in the midst of intense struggle and hardship. Sorrow and pain do not separate us from God. That is exactly where God chooses to be present. The biblical Christmas story does not demand that we feel like celebrating. It does not demand that we are happy. It is so much simpler than that. It only invites us to hear the news that God is with us. And it reminds us that love surrounds us, especially when life feels hard. May signs of that comforting, holy love appear for each one of us this season. And may we feel the presence of the Christ child in our midst. Amen. At this time, you are invited to light a candle. Perhaps it is a candle in memory of someone, or a candle to represent a prayer for healing, a prayer for comfort. receive these words of blessing written by Jan Richardson. To all that is chaotic within you, let there come silence. Let there be a calming of the clamoring, a stilling of the voices that have laid their claim on you, that have made their home in you, that go with you even to the holy places, but will not let you rest, will not let you hear your life with wholeness, or feel the grace that fashioned you. May there come an end to all that diminishes and demeans, and may all that keeps you confined depart. May there be an opening into the quiet that lies beneath the chaos, into the holy love that journeys with you at all times, where you find the peace that you did not think possible and see what shimmers within the storm.